The morning I found out my daughter was trying to take everything, I was sitting in a dark hospital room listening to her voice through the wall, planning it in real time. She did not know I was there. She did not know a nurse had pulled me into that room 60 seconds before the conversation started, and she did not know that every single word coming out of her mouth was about to cost her everything. Drop a comment right now and tell me where you are watching from, because I want you here for every single second of this. I read every comment. Some names and small details have been changed to protect people still inside the legal process, but every word that matters is completely and entirely true. My name is Gloria. I'm 57 years old. I live alone in Clanton, Georgia, in the house my husband, Edwin, and I built. Edwin died of a stroke 3 years ago. We had 31 years together, good years, hard years, ours. After he passed, I kept moving. I kept the house clean, the garden alive, the church group going. I was fine mostly. And if you have ever lost the person who was your whole world, you know that fine and okay are two completely different things. For 2 years after Edwin died, I moved through life like I was just passing through it. And then 6 months before any of this happened, my old friend Raymond came back into my life and stayed 4 hours at my kitchen table and made me laugh for the first time in 2 years. The kind of laugh from somewhere you thought had gone quiet. We started spending time together carefully. I had not yet told my daughter Vanessa. I knew it would be complicated. What I did not understand was how far her version of protection had already traveled. The morning of my routine cardiology appointment, I drove myself to Clanton Medical Center the way I always did. I signed in at the front desk, sat down in the waiting area with a magazine. I never read and waited for my name to be called. A woman appeared at the end of the corridor and walked straight toward me. Late 50s, silver hair pulled back, dark scrubs. She looked at me and something moved across her face. Something urgent and afraid. She crouched down beside my chair and spoke in a voice that was barely above a whisper. "Mrs. Harmon," she said, "my name is Patrice. I worked the cardiac floor the night your husband, Edwin, was brought in after his stroke 3 years ago. I do not expect you to remember me, but I need you to come with me right now. Somewhere private. Please do not say anything until we are completely away from this hallway." The way she carried herself told me clearly that she was not afraid of me. She was afraid of something she already knew and had already decided she could not stay quiet about. I stood up and I followed her. She took me down a side corridor past a supply room, past a small staff break area, and stopped at a door marked private consultation. She used her badge to unlock it, pulled me inside, and closed the door without turning on the overhead light. "They are standing just outside your doctor's office," she whispered. "Right now, please just listen to me." Voices came through the wall, muffled by drywall and distance, but close enough. I knew the first voice before she finished her sentence. It was my daughter Vanessa. That careful, deliberate way she has of pacing her words when she is being serious. "She is not going to fight this," Vanessa was saying. "She trusts people completely. She always has. That has been her greatest weakness, and right now it is exactly what we are counting on." A man's voice, older, smooth, and practiced. "The evaluation window closes Friday morning at 10 o'clock. If the petition is filed before that hour, the asset protection order activates automatically. There is no contest window after filing." My daughter again. And the house, the retirement accounts. All of it. Everything falls under conservatorship. The man said, "Once the court approves the petition and a family member is formally named as conservator, full financial authority transfers. That includes the legal right to liquidate, sell, transfer, or reassign any and all assets. Standard procedure can be completed in 30 days or fewer. What if she contacts an attorney before Friday morning? She won't have grounds if the assessment is already on record. Woman her age with grief history and a new relationship reads as compromised. Judgment. The judge will see exactly what we need him to see." My daughter's voice again, quieter, now as if she was turning away from the door. Today's appointment keeps her busy for the morning. She will not suspect a single thing until it is already completely done. Patrice found my hand in the dark and held it. She was trembling. She turned on the light. Her eyes were full. "Your husband kept saying your name that night," she said. "The night he came in, he kept saying Gloria over and over until he could not say it anymore. I could not walk past this hallway today knowing what I just heard and say nothing to you. I could not do that to you." I looked at this woman who had carried Edwin's last word for 3 years and walked toward me because it was simply right. "Who is that man?" I said. the one she was speaking with. His name is Dr. Clifton Morse, she said. A contracted psychiatric evaluator. He comes in for specific assessments. I have seen his name on paperwork before, in situations that never felt right. Right now I want to ask you, if you heard your own child planning to have you declared incompetent to take your home and your husband's savings, what would you do? Tell me in the comments. I drove home without remembering a single turn. I sat in my driveway staring at the house. Edwin and I built the flower beds, the porch swing where we used to sit long after the kids were asleep. I thought about what it had taken to build this life and what it was going to take to protect it. Then I went inside and I called my attorney. Linda Osei answered on the second ring. I had used her for contracts and for Edwin's estate. She was precise and she did not panic. I told her everything from the moment Patrice appeared, in the corridor to the last word I heard through the wall. When I finished, she was quiet for 3 seconds. We have until Friday morning, she said. How much is the estate? The house is assessed at $380,000. I said Edwin's retirement accounts and investments, another $260. Altogether just over $640,000. She picked up a pen. 3 things before Friday, she said. An independent evaluation, an emergency motion to freeze any pending filings, and we need to know who Clifton Morse is and what he has done before. She handed me a card, Marcus Cole, former detective, fast and quiet. I called Marcus from the parking lot. He answered on the first ring, asked 4 precise questions, and said, "Give me 24 hours. He was at my kitchen table the next afternoon. And he set a thick manila folder down without a word. First page, a limited liability company registered 4 months ago under my daughter. Vanessa's name designed specifically to receive and manage. Assets transferred out of a conservatorship. Second page. A mortgage loan filed against my daughter's property for $310,000 filed 14 months ago. The co-signer on that loan was listed as Gloria Ann Harmon. I never signed that, I said. My voice was very quiet. I know Marcus said the signature has been flagged as a forgery. Your daughter and her husband are in serious debt. A restaurant that failed loans in default. Property taxes 18 months behind. They needed money and needed you not to know. He opened the next section of the folder. Dr. Clifton Morse. 3 documented cases. A 72-year-old woman in Savannah in 2021. Morse filed a psychiatric evaluation claiming cognitive decline. Her son was appointed conservator. Nearly $700,000 in property and retirement. Savings were liquidated within 7 months. She was placed in a memory care facility. She died the following year. Morse received $46,000 in consulting fees. A 78-year-old man in Macon in 2022. Same exact structure, same appointment. Same language in the report, same result. His daughter was named conservator. The assets were transferred. He died in assisted living less than 2 years later. Then a 67-year-old woman named Dorothy Fenn in Augusta in 2023, Morse filed his evaluation. But Dorothy's brother-in-law was a retired family court judge. He read the petition, recognized the pattern, and called an attorney. The conservatorship was stopped. Dorothy Fenn is alive, Marcus said, and she agreed to speak to you. I thought about the woman in Savannah and the man in Macon, who had no one pull them aside. I thought about Edwin planting the oak tree the year our son was born, because he said every family needs something that outlasts them. Somebody has to make noise. That night I sent Vanessa a text, family dinner. Friday at 7, cannot wait to see you. Bring your husband. She replied in under a minute. Of course, Mom, cannot wait. Love you so much. I read those 3 words and I held my phone in my hands, and I sat with a feeling I still do not have a name for. Friday evening, Linda sat in my living room. Marcus Cole stood near the hallway. Raymond sat in the corner, quiet and completely steady. Patrice Webb sat on the sofa with her hands folded. Vanessa walked in and saw the room and stopped. Her face moved through something real, and then it closed into something composed, and I watched her build that composure, and I thought, I finally see you completely. Sit down, I said. She sat. I stood in the center of the house Edwin and I had built together, and I spoke the way I had spoken for 24 years in front of students who needed to understand something that mattered. Not loudly, not with anger, not with performance, just with complete and total clarity. On Tuesday morning, I said I was brought into a private room by a nurse who remembered my husband. From that room, I heard your voice, Vanessa. I heard your husband, I heard Dr. Clifton Morse, and I heard the plan to have me declared unfit before I could stop it. Her jaw tightened, but nothing came out. The mortgage on your house, I said. The one that carries my name, a name. I never wrote on any document. Did you sign my name yourself? Or did someone tell you it had already been handled? Her husband spoke first. She told me you had already agreed to it verbally. She said you fully understood. And you just did not want to make it into a whole conversation. Vanessa said nothing. I never agreed to a single thing. I said, not the loan, not the company, not the evaluation. Not one word of any of it was ever discussed with me. Not once. Linda opened her laptop. The screen on the sideboard showed the forged signature, the company registration, the bank transfers, and the complete timeline. Marcus laid out the debt structure and the financial pattern in exact and careful language. Then he opened the Morse file. 3 names, 3 assessments. 2 people who did not survive their conservatorships. The screen changed and Dorothy Fenn appeared. She was looking directly into the camera the way someone looks when they have made a decision, and they are not afraid of it anymore. In 2023, she said, Dr. Clifton, Morse told a court I could not manage my own life. He spent 40 minutes with me. He filed to take my home. My brother-in-law was a retired judge. He called an attorney that same day. We stopped it. The people before me were not that lucky. Please do not be the next person who was not. The screen went dark. The room was completely silent. Vanessa stood. I need to speak with an attorney. That is absolutely your right, Linda said. You should also know that an emergency protective order was granted yesterday morning. Any conservatorship petition filed before Monday is automatically suspended pending judicial review. And the forged signature on that mortgage has been formally referred to the district attorney's office. Vanessa walked to the front door, opened it, and left without another word. Her husband looked at me before he left. I stopped asking questions a long time ago, he said. I told myself she handled the finances and I am sorry, Mrs. Harmon. He walked out. Linda moved fast enough. The conservatorship was never filed. Morse surrendered his license before the review board finished. 6 former patients came forward. 3 cases were reopened. The criminal case around the forged signature moved forward in court. In January, I sat in the office of Dr. Amara Wells at Emory Medical Center for the results of my independent cognitive evaluation. She set a thick-bound report on the desk between us and looked at me directly. Mrs. Harmon, she said, your memory, your reasoning, your verbal acuity, all fall in the exceptional range for any adult at any age. There is no basis whatsoever for any claim of cognitive decline. I had expected to feel triumphant. Instead, I felt something quieter, like setting down something so heavy you had carried it. So long you forgot you were even holding it. In March, my son Marcus met me for coffee. He was already there when I walked in. He stood when he saw me, and we hugged in the middle of that coffee shop the way you do when you are not performing a feeling, but simply having it completely. When we left, he held the door for me, and we stood on the sidewalk together in the March cold. Mom, he said, I noticed things over this past year. Small things that didn't sit right. I kept telling myself. I was reading it wrong. I talked myself out of picking up the phone every single time. I should have just called you. I looked at my son. He has his father's jaw and his father's way of going quiet when something costs him something, and his own honest, careful heart. You are calling now, I said, keep going. If this story reached you today, please share it, because what almost happened to me happens every single day. To women who are told that their feelings are symptoms. To women whose grief is picked up and used as a weapon against them. To women who built something real and lasting with someone they loved and are simply trying to keep moving forward into whatever comes next. Do not wait for a crisis to check on the people in your life who are aging alone. Do not assume fine means okay, and do not ever let anyone use the word protection when what they mean is control. I got my second chance because a stranger in a dark hallway remembered my husband's last word and decided that it mattered enough to act. I plan to use every single day of it. Tell me in the comments at what moment in this story would your trust have finally broken? I want to know I read everything.